Who do you choose to define yourself as in this moment? You're probably wondering what that means. If you look at a person's life and what they actually go through, depending on what sort of choices people have made, depending on what people's belief systems are, they've basically painted a picture of themselves of who they are. And I'm here to tell you that that's not accurate. Now, you may think that you've made the wrong choices. You may think you've done the wrong things. You may think that you're too far gone. You may think that no matter what you do at this point, you're not going to get ahead. And I'm here to tell you that the most important thing is, who do you choose to find yourself in the moment that counts? It doesn't matter what you did 10 years ago, or 5 years ago, or the decisions you made 8 hours ago. It's who you choose to define yourself in the moment that counts. In each moment of every single day. Do you choose to define yourself as someone who can do anything? Do you choose to define yourself who can make anything happen? Do you choose to define yourself as a person who takes a problem head on? Do you choose to define yourself as someone who can just look at adversity in the eye and come through it with a smile? So you choose yourself to define yourself in the moment that counts. You can have two people. If I were a very, very successful person and I'd done really well and made a lot of money and, did really well in the business and had a great family and really, really made something of my life. If I chose for 1 second to define myself as not a person who embodies all that, it doesn't matter. And I'm going to give you an example. Here's the example. You have a really successful person. They've done a fantastic thing with their life. They've got a fantastic family. They're doing really well with their income. They look after their health. They are an image of perfection in every single way, shape, and form. But if that person makes one bad decision, if that person decides to do that one thing wrong and puts himself in a place where he believes that he can't get out of it. So let's say, for instance, that person's, who's built this wealth for themselves. They've gone and decided to invest in the stock market. And, they're doing really well, and then all of a sudden they choose to do this one stock. They think it's going to go through the roof. And you know what they do? They go and put everything they've got on it because they think that's the right decision. And that stock crashes. They lose everything. They lose absolutely everything. They've just found out they're going to lose their house, everything they've worked for, everything. Now, this person does not know how to face what they've actually done. That person goes and stands on the front of a bridge, on a 50, 60 meter bridge. At that point, if he looks at the water and decides to jump in that water, it doesn't matter who they were before. It doesn't matter what they'd achieved. It doesn't matter how hard they worked, what sort of mentality they had, what sort of mindset they had, what sort of attitude they had, what sort of drive they had. At that point, if that person chose to define themselves as somebody who does not see a light at the end of the tunnel, if that person chose to define themselves as somebody who believed that there was nothing left, who believed that it was too far gone, and they jumped, guess what? Then everything they worked for up until that point meant nothing. But the beauty about this is, you can look at it completely the other way. You can have someone who's homeless on the street. You can have someone who's never achieved anything in their life, never succeeded at anything in their life. And in that one moment, they chose to define themselves a winner. In that one moment, they chose to define themselves as somebody who can make anything happen. In that one moment, they chose to define themselves as a person who was going to take adversity and find the solutions. In that one moment, that person decided to define themselves as a winner, as a champion, as a person who loves life, as a person who embodies everything that a successful person does. It didn't matter who they were before that point. It didn't matter what they thought of themselves. It didn't matter what decisions they made. Because they took action in a positive way. Remember, guys, knowledge is power. But without action, knowledge is nothing. If you want to think of knowledge as power and not have it without action, you got to think of it like, imagine you have a perfect recipe for a cake. You have the most amazing recipe for a cake. The best recipe in the world that could absolutely just destroy any other cake out there. You could have the best recipe in the world, but you know what? If you do not get that recipe and put it into action, knowledge is power. With action, it's nothing. So choose to define yourself as a person in the moment who can make anything happen. Choose to define yourself as in the moment like a person who can take life and do what they want with it. Choose to define yourself in the moment as the person who is unstoppable. Choose to define yourself in this moment while you're watching this. If you can hear my voice, if you feel that there's no way out, if you feel like you're not going to do anything else, I'm here to tell you that that's wrong. I'm here to tell you that if you choose to define yourself in this moment, in this second, as someone who can take life on, you can make a change in the world. And if you change your life, you can change every single person's mentality within your environment. You can be the change. It might seem hopeless, but you know what? Without one step in the right direction, it's definitely going to be hopeless. I'd like to thank you, all you guys, for listening to my first video. This is just me raw. I've been told for years to do this and I never believed it. And I heard it enough times and said, you know what? Enough people have told me that I should really do something with this, so I'm doing it. And I'm choosing to define myself as, in this moment, a person who can touch 1 million lives. And in order to touch 1 million lives, you have to start one by one. So it might as well be you and the next person after you. Be well, take care, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya.